And welcome, everybody. Good to see you guys. Gonna give it just a minute and let everybody hop in here. Oh, it looks like StreamYard had an upgrade. Some new buttons. Good to see everybody. Elbows being hungry again. I gotta figure it out. All right, good to see everybody. How's everybody's Sunday evening going? Tried to bump this up a little bit earlier than last week. Trying to find the sweet spot. In the summer, people like to stay out a little bit later. So, all right. Good to see you, Janet. Good to see you, Thomas. Hello, everybody. There's Tim. How are you, Tim? Pamela from Australia. That's awesome. Howdy, howdy. The sound is good. Sounds good. Thank you. Hey, Laura. Good to see you. All right. Well, everybody's piling in here. We'll just give everybody a few minutes. How's everybody's Sunday going? What are you guys having for dinner? I tell you guys, I tried these. And Laura in the chat, she's tried them too. I tried these lamb breastplates, and I hadn't heard of them until, oddly enough, Alyssa talked about them when she was down here for the 4th, and she hasn't even tried them. And then I found them in Bozeman, and then Laura found them too. And man, they are tasty. There's something else you guys should give them a try. Oh, there's Lindy. Hey, Lindy. That's good, Lindy. You need some sleep. You've been working around the clock. There's Cranky. Everybody with a side of butter. That is awesome. I'm accidentally fasting today because the day was kind of busy and it got away from me, so I'm making today a audible call fast here. Sideline call. Made cube steak with pork rinds, Parmesan cheese. That's crusty. That sounds good. Parmesan gravy. That's delicious. Oh, hey, Cat. Is my sound off? Are you guys not hearing me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Just double check on that. But yeah, now that we're in here, I just want to see how your guys' week was going. Put in the chat. Sound is on. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Yeah, so today was it. This week was actually kind of busy. I got smacked by a car on Tuesday. That was fun. Oh, Lindy said it's a bit tinny. All right. Let me go see why my audio is being stupid. That's why my audio is being stupid. This is going to be much better. There we go. This should be way better. Can you guys hear me now? Testing 1, testing 2. Testing 1, testing 2. Perfect. All right. I got some feedback. The mic's better. I don't know why. But StreamYard had an update, and now things are working so different. It's got new buttons, and it keeps defaulting to a different audio, even though I keep picking it when I'm coming in here. And then there's a radio DJ voice. And then it's just been a little bit glitchy. It's really, really crazy. Thank you, Tim. But yeah, this week was a little bit crazy, but it got me thinking about stuff because it all went pretty well. But I got hit by a car on Tuesday. I was parked stopped at a red light. Had been stopped for like 2 minutes, and a car just rear ends the crap out of me. And I was so torqued because right when it hit me, it was shocking because you're kind of listening back there for screeching brakes and stuff when you first stop at a red light, but not after you've been sitting there for like 2 minutes, because you've been sitting there for 2 minutes. Like, if it was gonna happen, it would have happened already, but it didn't. And so somebody smacked me, and it wasn't terribly hard, but it was a pretty good jolt. And I wasn't in my truck or truck. I was in a van, and I got hit by a bigger SUV. So they missed my bumper and hit the back, So it was a pretty good shot. And right when I went forward, as I was, as the whiplash was happening, I felt that stupid herniated disc in my back hurt. I felt the pain in it. And I felt that stupid sciatic nerve flare up for the first time in like 5 or 6 weeks. I'd had that thing put to bed for the last 5 or 6 weeks and no pain. It was doing good. And I felt it. So, I mean, I was still not even settling down from getting rocked. And my mind was already mad because I knew exactly what had happened. And I was like, oh, so torqued. And, the lady, I forget, she said that she thought the traffic was moving and she thought I was going. She didn't see that I was stopped, whatever. She smacked me. And I'm sure she was just not paying attention or looking at her phone or something dumb. But anyways, that happened and had to deal with lawyers, or insurance companies. Just basically, they're lawyers and insurance companies feel the same because they're such greasy little grease balls. It was funny. The one insurance guy was like, I was talking to him, I was filing the claim, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we talked to our client, and yep, she said it was absolutely her fault, and got the police report here, and so we're gonna go ahead and get that fixed." But we heard that you had some back troubles. I said, "Yeah, it was just I'd spent 3 months at a chiropractor getting my back fixed, and I was finally free from that for about the last 5 or 6 weeks, and now that stupid sciatica came back, and that herniated disc seems to be flared up." And he goes, "Well, you'll be happy, and just, that was 3 months of not sleeping, being in pretty good pain. And I paid like $3,500 or $4,000 to the chiropractor during that time, to get to that point where I could not feel the pain. I was sleeping again." This insurance guy goes, "You'll be happy to know that I'm approved right now to offer you for your pain and suffering and your medical conditions $850. And I was like, I don't even know why we're talking right now because me and you are in two different zip codes right now. I mean, it was hilarious. And I just realized, oh, this is their little slime ball that they put on the phone with you to see if you happen to be dumb enough and desperate enough to get bought off for nothing. And I was like, no, I think we'll just let the treatment go through and get the x-rays and see what the doctors and my insurance company and the lawyers have to say, and we'll just let them all handle it. And so that was a whole little funny thing that was going on. Yeah, completely insulting. It was really stupid. And then unfortunately, on Thursday night, Cosette, my dog, if anybody's been watching for a long time knows, was coming to the end, and she was going on 21 years old. And I figured I'd probably have to put her down this winter because she just had so many problems. She had hip dysplasia and her hair was falling out on her back hips from nerve damage. And she had like 4 tumors on the outside on her skin, which is fairly normal because she was, for whatever reason, even when she was young, she got those, and I'd have to get them cut off every once in a while. But then she was blind in one eye and couldn't quite hear anymore and lost a lot of teeth. And her mind was still there, her heart was there, but everything else was in bad shape. But on Thursday, she started bleeding, and they figured it was cancer because she had internal bleeding. So we had to put her down on Friday, but they came to the house, and so Cosette's home with Dad and Ty now. So it was a good run. She's a good dog for almost 21 years. That was a heck of a run, but she's resting now. So that's going on. But with all that said, let's see. Oh, we got some questions coming in. Let me mark these. With all that said, I was thinking today because, I don't know, this stuff just comes and goes. You have good times, bad times, and sometimes you're flying. And I was thinking today because there's so many of these, there's so many of these days. And there's a lot of, a lot of rough days, but then a lot of awesome days. There's been a lot of awesome things happen this year. This Montana meetup was fantastic, and so many good things have happened in the last 32 months that are pretty awesome. And, I hear a lot of people, I think people can get stuck in kind of the gloomy, doomy rut of things if you're not careful, and we can see what's going on with other people and think everything, that they're just flying through things and carnivore's easy for them. And they just seem like they're flying on a cloud, but I don't think anybody is. I think realistically, I think we just have a choice. And I know that I have to stay grateful and stay in prayer and stay in my faith every day, or else these things get to me. And if these things get to me, I also know that it has a very real outside physical effect on my health. And it puts me backwards if I focus on the negative. And I'm just saying that because so many times in my comments and in my DMs and stuff and Instagram and on TikTok and even in SBG and stuff, there's a lot of people that I just noticed that I think they don't understand that they're doing it. They don't mean to do it, but I think they constantly feel like everybody else is doing great and maybe they're falling behind, or maybe things aren't working for them like they are for other people. But I truly believe that that's why I like the NSV calls and SBG so much, and it's why I like community so much, because you have to work just like you're working at just like you're working at your carnivore diet and you're working at nourishing and healing your body. I think you got to do that same thing for your heart, for your mind, for your spirit. You got to get those things in order, or because if you keep looking at just the bad things, and if you just keep looking at life like, well, the damage is done, things can't get better, those type of things, they're going to keep plaguing you. But if you can look really hard and pay real close attention to the healing that's happening, because I promise you, when you're in a good group and you're making strides to move forward, even though they can be small and slow at first, there's something there. There's a seed there that you can keep watering and it'll keep growing. You water that with gratitude and hope, and you look forward to that thing, and you just keep focusing on that, because the negative stuff's going to come and go, and these bad days are going to come and go, but they're not permanent. And everybody goes through them. Every single one of us is going through them, no matter if it looks like it looks like we're flying through things or not. There's bad days coming for everybody and good days, and we don't have to let them. I love what I forget what his name is. He's that Navy SEAL guy that's on there, but he's like every day that we go out, I just realized that we're all going to die, but I just am not going to let it, and it could be today, but I'm not going to let that ruin my day, And I really believe that there's a lot of truth in that. Like, we're all going to have rough days, but don't let it ruin all the good days worrying about the rough days or dwelling on the rough days that went past, because it's just not worth it. Look for all the good things to celebrate, and you'll find that those things manifest and we have more of those good days. I know that works for me, and I'm just saying that because I've spent the last 32 months doing that and making that a point, and things have gotten a lot better, and the bad days don't faze me as much at all, really. Like, I remember even 3 years ago, 4 years ago, dreading this day when my dog was going to die, which sounds crazy, but I mean, it's been almost 21 years. She's been attached to me at the hip for 21 years. And really, I know my brother's up there, my dad's up there, and I just had this, when I was saying goodbye to her, I just said, you go take care of Dad and Ty now, and I'll be up there soon. And it just, it just didn't, it sucked, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, because, this is all so permanent. I really believe that. So I don't know. There's just something that was on my brain today. I'm going to see what kind of comments we got here. Some questions. I think we got a few. All right. We got some comments, some questions. Let me get these cues going. That was just, I was giving you guys time to get your comments in there. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. All right, let's see what comments we got. Questions. All right. From Patricia. Let's see. Todd, a few weeks ago, you suggested a connection between fat adaptation and eating less salt. Could you elaborate a little? 1 year carnivore and still leg cramps. Thanks. Uh, well, first of all, the leg cramps, you might be having leg cramps because you're taking too much salt. Or it could be like with the leg cramps, they are far. I had a ton of leg cramps for about a year too on carnivore, but that was when I was actually taking a lot of electrolytes, and I didn't realize that electrolyte imbalance, including taking too many electrolytes or too much salt or too much potassium, too much of one electrolyte, can absolutely cause cramping too. And so, but ultimately, what I was trying to say about fat adaptation is that, and I really want everybody to really hear this part because it's like people only hear this next part that I'm going to say, and then they all jump onto this. And this is not what I'm telling everybody to do or suggesting that everybody do. But I went through SBG priming and I did all the priming, and then I started working on fasting. And then one thing that I started working on past wet fasting was dry fasting. But I'm going to say this very clear. I'm not suggesting that anybody fast until you primed. And I'm not suggesting that anybody dry fast until you're really primed and you know that you kind of conquered wet fasting. However, what I will say is that when I did incorporate dry fasting, see, when you're wet fasting, your body goes to get fat for energy, for fuel. But when you're dry fasting, your body also goes to your fat to get your metabolic fluid for hydration and electrolytes, minerals. And so you become a little bit more fat adapt, and you kind of train your body to go for your stored metabolic fluid, and it kind of does a better job at balancing your own minerals, I believe, because that's what happened to me. Because when I started dry fasting, I went from drinking like quite literally like 2 gallons of water a day plus, and eating a whole bunch of salt and salting everything, to just naturally I lost my taste for salt. Like everything started tasting too salty. I stopped drinking so much, and now I probably drink 64 ounces of fluid a day. And on a hot day, maybe maybe still up to a gallon on a hot day if I'm really sweating. But other than that, probably around 64 ounces of fluid, and I don't crave salt anymore, so I don't eat it. Sometimes I'll get it in like Pemmican or something or whatever, but I don't chase salt, and I don't salt my steaks anymore. And not out of something that I didn't want to do. I just lost my taste for it. And when that happened, I noticed that my body goes after the metabolic fluid, and that is naturally better balanced with with minerals, and I just stopped having cravings now, or cramps, I mean. And now I notice that the only times that I get cramps is when I just underdrink and I'm out sweating a bunch and I go for a couple of days not drinking enough, or if I'm just on my feet way too much or something and I get some swelling, I'll get cramps. But those are few and far between now. So I hope that helps. Go to the next one. Laura. Todd, sorry, I was so hard to lose your furry companion. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, Laura. Yeah, it sucked. Cosette was such a good dog, but I'm really happy. I got a long time to say goodbye to her, and when they start to be in so much pain, you're really happy for them to be out of pain, because it starts to get pretty bad at the end. I'd love to hear about Montana Meetup. Please tell us about it. Oh, it's fantastic. I was busy as all get out because, well, I don't know if you guys heard, but coming up to it, I ended up with a huge kidney stone, like a pretty big monster. The urologist didn't think I was going to pass it because it was too big. It was the size of like a small green pea. And if anybody's ever passed a kidney stone, that is, that's a good size one for sure. If there is such a thing as a good size kidney stone, that might be an oxymoron in itself right there, but it was a big one. And that kind of was terrible, pretty terrible timing, to be honest with you, because because I had so much work to do before the Montana meetup, and then this kidney stone came out of nowhere, and then they saw that it was so big. So, anyways, I was just like, I threw up for like 13 days straight. I didn't eat for like 15 days. Like, it was just miserable. I didn't sleep for 15 days. I was a inflamed wreck, and and that was right before the meetup. So I'm just saying that to say this about the meetup was that I was behind on everything that I needed to do. So finally, I did pass the kidney stone uh, naturally, so to speak. And I joke with everybody saying that little bugger better call me on Father's Day from now on, because I definitely gave birth to that thing. But 11 days of labor later. But at any rate, it was fantastic. It was a success. We once we finally capped the meeting, when we knew what kind of range we were looking at, we sold all the tickets, which was incredible. I thought, of course, it was our first one, but it was so fantastic to meet everybody, and the food. I mean, Dry Lakes Beef donated all the meat, which was fantastic, which we really needed to, because we had severely underpriced the tickets because we didn't understand just what the expenses were going to exactly be looking at, but we wanted to keep it as close to, break even as possible, because we wanted to over deliver for the first one for sure. And we just wanted to be about community and getting everybody there. And we wanted to knock it out of the park with the beef, and Dry Lakes helped us do that. And then some. I think it was definitely, everybody that was there can say in their own words, but for me, it was the best food that I'd had at any of them yet. And so the meats, and for both days, were just over the top. I mean, for we had about 170 some people there, I think, on the fourth with the presenters, and we had 300 pounds of picanha and 100 pounds of hanger steak and Rocky Mountain oysters, and it was smoked by the Carnivore brothers, Brett and Rhett, and Hoosier Carnivore Brett as well, to absolute perfection. They just did an amazing job with that, and they just really helped us out. And then for the VIP, and we even had so much left over that for the Q&A, we really weren't gonna, there was no dinner included in that package, just for the Q&A, but we even did the leftovers from the night before for the Q&A, and then and then I was just reading some of these comments, and then for the VIP dinner, it was awesome. I mean, everybody got like a 2.5-3 pound tomahawk that was perfectly cooked, smoked and seared. We had picanha, we had buffalo brisket, and we had Rocky Mountain oysters, and we had canoed bone marrow, all on a cutting board. I mean, it was just absolutely perfect. And yeah, everybody really loved it. Let's see. An LMNT, and shoot, I'm forgetting. I'm spacing the dairy people. I'm sorry if they're watching, but they donated a bunch of raw, unpasteurized dairy that was just fantastic. So we had a bunch of that. It was just incredible. It was really awesome. And yeah, so I loved it. What I felt bad about was that I was so behind, and I didn't mean to be, but I was. And so I didn't get to, yeah, there it is, Julie Ash, Miller Farms. Thank you so much. Miller Regenerative Farms. Thank you. But what I felt really bad about was that I didn't get to spend much time with the people that came to see us, because it was just busy. And to be honest with you, I I didn't feel in shape to be talking to people, because I hadn't slept in like 15 days, and I was in a fair amount of discomfort from the kidney stone stuff, and so I wasn't even always making I wasn't even articulating very good at that time, so I was a little bit spread around. But next year, and we're doing this annually now, because it was such a overwhelmingly, it was a success for sure. I already have a bunch of tickets sold for next year, so guys, go check them out right now. They're definitely the best value, but it's going to be like we identified all the things that we can make better, and we're dang sure going to do it. And so it's going to keep getting better and better. And it was already, in my opinion, a rather large success. So I was very happy about it. All right. Any videos coming out showing Montana meetup? So because of that, and because I'm the worst YouTuber influencer dude. Well, I'm not an influencer. I'm barely a YouTuber. I'm really not even a YouTuber. I just get on this dang thing and I talk crap. But the fact of the matter is, I am so bad at it that I swear to you, I did not take one picture, record one video. I'm terrible about it. But however, if you go to the Carnivore brothers, I think Ashley and Rhett did the best recap. They did a part 1 and part 2 of Montana, and it's fantastic. If you guys want to go over and subscribe and check out Ashley and Rhett, the Carnivore brothers, so their channel is called the Carnivore brothers. They did a fantastic job on that. And then if you go to like Bella's channel and Laura's channels and on their Instagrams and everything, it's all over. Like there's pictures and stuff all over. Plus, and also if you're one of the people that are buying tickets to next year's meetup, you get invited to the Montana Meetup Facebook group, and that has tons of pictures and stuff going on from this year's meetup. So it's pretty fantastic. All right. Michael hasn't. I think he's still just focusing on healing up, but he hasn't been available in the last couple of days. So I'm trying to get a kind of update on him. But I know Michael. We've been friends a while now, and when he's trying to heal up, he sleeps at different hours and stuff when his body wants to heal. And he's told me before, he goes, I kind of act like a hurt dog when I'm healing, and I go in the corner because I don't want to bite anybody. Mainly, he doesn't want to have be cranky around us, and so we're biggest thing we can all do for Michael is just keep praying for him. And he's got a lot of lymphedema that he's trying to heal through, and it causes him trouble. And I know how much that compromised lymphatic system can make a guy feel rough, and I know that he absolutely needs to just stay focused on healing, and that's what he's doing right now. So we're praying for him, we're checking on him, and we're if Michael's listening, he ain't alone. We're all here for him, and so we just want him to get better, and he'll give me a call when he's feeling better and can make some phone calls. So we'll all know here soon. All right. Julie Ash, question. I believe you said your CRP was rising. C-reactive protein. Yeah, it was. What are you doing to try to lower that? So I'm going to go in for another blood test here. When is it? I think it's on the 5th. I think it's on the 5th. Don't quote me on that, 5th or 6th. But the C-reactive protein was rising because I was having those kidney stones and because I was having oxalate dumping, and I was in a pretty nasty inflamed state. And Coach Alyssa had helped me identify the fact that I was under eating on fat, which is really easy to do. And what had happened basically was I had incorporated more New York steak just because, one, it's a little cheaper than the rib roast, and two, it was just a change up. I don't add seasonings or dairy or really anything else when I want to change up of flavor. I changed the cut of meat that I'm doing, and at this particular time, I had changed up, and I was alternating between New York steak roasts and rib roasts. And I was going back and forth. Well, when we actually looked at the rib roasts, they're very, very lean, or the New York steak roasts, they're very lean. They're not even 1-to-1 fats. They're not even close to it. They're like 6.5 to 1 fat to protein. And so I had to really focus on getting higher fat in, and that really does the trick. So I'm assuming that it's lower by now, but we'll see. Well, it could have been. It probably was until I got hit by that car, and then my herniated disc got herniated again. Because when you're in pain, you're inflamed. Your body reacts. You're in fight or flight mode, and you have stiffness, and swelling means you have inflammation, which means who knows what it's going to say now. I wish I would have been able to get it retested before I got hit by that car, but we'll see. But that's all it was. I really truly believe everything else was super on point, except, well, the key giveaway too, why Alyssa was right on noticing that my fat intake was probably too low, is because as much meat and protein and ribeyes and everything as I eat, my cholesterol was low. I had low cholesterol, which is hilarious. And so, yeah, we pumped that up, and I definitely was feeling less inflamed. So I will keep you guys posted. Jen K. Todd, how do you deal with cravings? I eat through them. And especially eat through fat. If you're having cravings, and this is like a pet peeve of mine, because, well, I was just talking to a guy on TikTok today too that was doing a low calorie diet, but we've all been beat to have this restrictive mindset and to worry about calories, to worry about these stupid calories. And you cannot even remotely count calories on carnivore, because if you're doing your fat to protein right, you're going to be over every TDE calculator suggested calories. You're going to blow that out of the water. But, I've lost 335 pounds, not in a calorie deficit. And Lindy's lost 500 pounds, not in a calorie deficit. And the real reason is because just what your question here is, Jen K, is that when we eat high fat and we eat red meat through the cravings, that's how we get free from cravings. That's how we get free from the highly palatable addictive foods and the carb cravings. That's how we get free from those addictions that hound us. And we just have to put healing and nourishment first, and we will break free from all those addictions. And so I don't have cravings anymore. And that's 100% the key, is to eat through them and throw the scale away. That's why me and a friend of mine are developing an app right now to combat the TDE calculators and all the other macro trackers that are out there, because all those macro trackers focus primarily on, and the TDE calculators, which, if you guys don't know what those stupid things are, they're called the total daily energy expenditure calculators. And they're all just crock of crap, and that's what I was kind of trying to say a little bit earlier to a guy on TikTok, because I scrolled through those things, and sometimes you stumble onto a live, and I'll see these young guys, and and this one fella, he was running, and he was running, and he was talking. He's like, yeah, this is the thing. I'm going to lift 5 days a week, and I'm going to do this. And he's telling me about all the workouts, and he wants to lose like 170 pounds. And he's saying all the stuff that everybody says. You got to go get it. You got to work out when you don't feel like it. You got to work hard. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, I did that. I did all that. And I lost 300 pounds twice and gained it back. And I lost 200 pounds twice and gained it back. And the problem is that we're talking about for our entire life. You cannot reach down and grab that other gear and suffer and, beat yourself up and find the encouragement and the willpower to be hungry and to work yourself into a starvation deficit for the betterment of your health and body for your entire life. You can't do it, especially if you've already been doing that crap. All you do is you keep, when you're focusing on a calorie deficit, you're not focusing on nourishment. And you're also just abusing the crap out of yourself, which is making your body just constantly be in this fight or flight mode. It doesn't know what the crap's happening. It knows that you're running from like bears and, and you're in a war and all this nonsense, and you're in a famine at the same time. And so it just keeps lowering your metabolism, and it just keeps conserving stuff, and it just keeps turning everything into fat, and it's just trying to store everything, and you're just beating yourself up. And as soon as you have a bad day or a weak day, or your metabolism's so low and your energy's so low that you just can't find it one more time to do it on adrenaline and beating yourself up, those pounds come on back so fast. And as I was talking to this kid, I said, all I asked him is, I said, what's your diet like? Like, how are you trying to address this with diet? I see what you're doing with workout. He's like, I track my macros. I'm in a calorie deficit and I stay that way. And I'm like, man, yeah, that's going to be an issue in the long run for consistency. And he's like, no, man, you don't get it. I've already done this and I lost 130 pounds once. And I'm like, exactly. Everybody that needs to lose 200 pounds or something has lost 100 pounds once, or has lost 130 pounds once. That's why this stupid dogma of calorie restrictive diets and not paying attention to the nutrient needs of your body and the nutrients that are in those calorie deficit low calorie foods is why 74% of the Earth's population is fat and overweight, and 88% of us are metabolically sick, because they've had the football under their genius watch of the same stupid dogma. Everybody's gotten sick and fat. That's not the answer to any of this, and it's never going to work. And if anything, if you just zoom out and look at what's happened since we've all been following that calorie restrictive mindset, that was just going to be the end all be all, and that's just the Bible of advice. Because yeah, if you starve yourself, you can manipulate your body and make it smaller for a while, until you keep getting sicker and your metabolism keeps crashing and you can't punish yourself anymore. You can't, like, how long do you think you can starve, you know? And then it's just so ridiculous that we think we're going to tell our body that it's wrong for needing nutrients. I mean, there's a reason, I mean, that our body's screaming out for this food because it needs some protein, amino acids, you know, it needs some real energy, it needs some building blocks, it needs to heal. So yeah, it's just crazy. And so yeah, just be, generous to yourself, just be kind to yourself, eat when you're hungry. If your body's hungry, don't feed it whatever craving you want, but feed it fatty red meat and eat it till you're stuffed, and that that craving, that noise will go away. And if you keep doing that, your body will even, I mean, it did for me. It took about 5.5 weeks. All of a sudden, I was feeding it bacon and eggs when I was wanting pizza and soda. And one day I woke up with the same panic with cravings, but that time my brain said, we need bacon and eggs. And I knew I'd won the battle when my brain did that, because I was like, we did it. We confused this thing. We flipped it. And sure enough, I've been free ever since. So hope that answers your question. Okay, we got the hint. Start dry fasting. Yeah, exactly. You guys don't listen at all. Lisa Rich, question: where did you have the meetup at? I will have it at the same location next year. Sort of. So we had the meetup right here in my neighborhood for the fireworks, because that's where we light off the fireworks. So just on the other side of our block, we rented the church lawn and we put up a wedding tent. And everybody watched from there, and that's where we fed everybody. And then the second day for the VIP dinner and the Q&A, we rented a wedding venue just about 4 miles down the road called the Rockin' TJ Ranch. You guys can check them out online. They're fantastic. And that's where we did that. Very beautiful venue. So, but we will definitely do the VIP dinner again at the Rockin' TJ Ranch. However, I'm trying to move the fireworks to a bigger location so we can go even bigger, and so more to come on that. We're working on that right now, but pretty much it's all pretty close to one and the same. Can I bunk at your place for Montana 2026? I think that if everybody did that, it'd be pretty crowded. So, but you could be like, we're going to get a bunch of hotels, and there's even a big place downtown that is a big new like apartment building with like commercial buildings on the bottom floor that has a bunch of Airbnbs in it. And so we're going to try to get some group rates and stuff. So stay tuned on that. But it is a beautiful place. I think you'll enjoy it. What airport is Bozeman near? So Bozeman's airport is called BZN, are the call letters. So B is in boy, Z is in zebra, N is in Nancy. And that's called the Gallatin. Let's see. It's called, yeah, the Gallatin Airport, Gallatin National Airport or something. I don't know. Look up BZN, but it's in Belgrade, Montana. And it's the only airport here. So you're not going to get it confused. The next one is in Billings or in Helena, but as long as you're in the Bozeman Airport, which is technically Belgrade, but it's like, Belgrade and Bozeman are one and the same. They all kind of grew together. But it's in Belgrade, but it's Gallatin International Airport is what it is. And it's the BZN is the call letters, and that'll pull you right up to it. Let's see. I gotta go. I'm so bad at soloing these things. Oh, Anne says question. Oh, there we go. I got you, Anne. Yeah, Rockin' TJ is awesome. All right, let me go back up here. What is your workout routine currently? I walk and strength train, looking at something new. So My first thing I do is I get up in the morning and I do the Wim Hof breathing, because the thing that I'm always fighting is my lymphatics and getting fluid moving and stuff. And so I do the Wim Hof breathing in the morning, and then I get out and I try to get on my shake plate, and I do 10 minutes on my shake plate, vibration plate on my legs. And then I do like 5 minutes on my arms to try to open up the thoracic ducts. And then I get on the rebounder and I do these calf raises, and that pushes a bunch of fluid out of me. And then later in the afternoon, I like to go back out there and I get on the shake plate again. And I have these foam wedges that you stand on. So you're standing at a kind of like a decline, I guess, because I like to do the knees over toes because that helps my knee strength. And then I hold a 45-pound dumbbell and I do squats on the shake plate. And then I just use free weights and cable weights to do just a little bit of strength training. And I just alternate that. And I only do that 2 to 3 times a week. And then I try to walk. And that's basically all I've been doing. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm only getting like 4,000 steps in a day, but it's a start. I'm trying to get to the 10,000 steps, but especially when you're busy, it's hard to do it. And right now, the 4,000 steps does fine. It's more important that I get the shake plate and the rebounder in to move the lymphatic system, because it's something for like every mile you do on like, or every equivalent of a mile that you do, or no, what is it? It's like every 5 minutes on the rebounder is equivalent to like 20 minutes of walking or something, as far as moving lymphatic fluid. And that's super important. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. And as I get stronger and do better, I add more stuff to it. And so, but that's the overall argument that I want to make, is that I've heard all my whole life that, well, you're overweight because you're lazy and you don't move enough and you eat too much and all this stuff. If you just restrict and you move more. And then, that went on for 26 years and I believed that, and I'd dig deep and I'd go move and I'd beat myself up and do all this stuff. And then I'd lose some weight for a short period of time, but none of it was consistent. And then what I realized through carnivore is, if you heal your body and your hormones and you get out of an inflamed state and you start building lean tissue again and you raise your metabolism and you get your brain health back and your brain chemistry back and your hormones are balanced, nobody has to tell me to get moving. Well, the better I feel, the more I move, the more my lymphatic system moves, the better I feel. The more I eat healthy meat, and fat, the better I feel, and the more strength I have, and the more I move. And it's like God designed us that way. It's crazy. Oh man. So that's what I'm doing now. Andy, Todd, do you need any volunteers for the meetups in 2026? I likely might. It's going to be bigger. We're going to put a team together as we get closer. We're developing that right now, but stay tuned. Look for the call. We'll do a shout out, and we'll probably put an email address out for you guys that you can email, and then we can talk about that for sure. But yeah, that might be something we might definitely need, and certainly even more in the future. It is a lot, and so we kind of have to build a structure, and that's what we're working on right now, because it is going to be, we don't want it to be too big that it loses any personal feel to it at all, but we also want to be able to accommodate so many people. So we're trying to find the balance there. So stay tuned, and we'll definitely let you know on that. So just keep on the lookout for any updates on that. Let's see. All right. Hey, Caleb, good to see you. How did I catch up on questions? You guys stop talking already? Did I miss anything? Let me go back through this, because seeing as I'm on my own, I was only looking for the cues. Let's see. TK says I won't be there for sure, or I want to be there for sure next year. Okay. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys. Did Michael pop in here? Did I miss Michael? Where is he? I think she was just hoping. Let's see. I struggle getting enough fat in. Okay, so I'll talk about this for a little while. I struggle getting enough fat in. Started trying a new thing to remedy this problem. Carnivore, please plug your ears. I've been using flavored LMNT and heavy whipping cream. Then free. I got you. Yeah. So I too struggle to get enough fat in. And so what I'm doing is pemmican. I'm making homemade pemmican. And if anybody don't know what pemmican is, it's basically what carnivore bars are. But I'm making them a little bit bigger and they're more affordable. And I've been doing it long enough now that we're working on putting them in production. We're probably still, I bet 6 months away from doing that. Maybe only 4. We'll see if it goes quicker, but I'm hoping to be able to help people with that because honestly, there's just quite a bit to it, and I'm just going to give you the overview on it. But the pemmican has been the best way that I can hit consistently a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio, and as I've been doing it, it's a game changer. But as you're making your pemmican and how you're making your pemmican, you got to be careful too because you can overcook it, which I'm very guilty of doing. And then you don't absorb all the protein from it. So even though you might have, let's say, even though you might get 100 grams of protein in a day in your pemmican, you might only be absorbing 50 grams of it or 60. And your body will let you know. So I'm working on that. We're working on a few things, but we have some really good bars, and I want to get them really affordable. So we're working on trying that, and if we can get that worked out, we'll be putting those out pretty soon as well. So the Montana Meetup tickets here, I'll put it in the chat, but it's at sbg.events. sbg.events. I don't know why that was so slow. But that's where you go to get Montana Meetup tickets. Caleb was there. Caleb Carnivore. Okay, let's see. All right, we got another question here. Hey, Todd, can I get the benefits of carnivore eating pork steaks? Beef is pricey up here in Alberta, Canada. I'm gonna be honest with you. First of all, pork steaks are way better than eating the sad diet of any type and fast food and carbohydrates and sugar and corn syrup and all that crap. So you eat whatever carnivore meats that you can eat. But with that said, I do believe, first of all, the pork steaks aren't going to have enough fat. So you're going to have to add fat to them. That's one of the biggest things. So try to find some fat if you can get it. And then second of all, because ruminant animals have 4 stomachs, they filter out all the nonsense that they might eat. There might be pesticides and germs and wheat and crap in the grass that the cows are eating. But because of their ruminant stomachs, they don't pass that through into their meat. It's very well filtered and protected. But pigs, whatever they eat is you're pretty much getting to, because they just have the one stomach or whatever, and it goes into their meat, and so it doesn't filter out the poison, and it doesn't, the crap that they're eating. So the reason why pork is kind of dirty, and I'm not demonizing bacon. You're way better off at eating the pork and everything than anything else. However, especially if you have autoimmune disease or histamine intolerance or something like that, you're better off at eating ruminant animals. Now, what I would suggest, and I don't know if it's any cheaper, is rather than eating pork, I mean, definitely eat the pork if you can get away with it, and it's the only thing you can get. You're still going to have fantastic results. But as something you might look at as an alternative that's cheap here in the United States, cheaper than beef, is lamb. And that's what Coach Alyssa eats all the time too. And it's much more affordable than beef. And it's also a ruminant animal. And it even has a better fat profile than beef does as far as being healthy. So you might try lamb if you can do that. All right. What is it? Where should I look for the volunteer application. If you decide, it'll be, if we decide to put a volunteer application out, it'll be at sbg.events. And then I'm sure we'll holler it out a few times on our show as we get closer with more details, and also on Bella's channel and everything SBG. So, Miniwall, is there a way to make payments for a Montana meetup for 2026 coming up with money a lot at once? Is very hard on a fixed income. Yes, I'm sure we can come up with something, Miniwall. Yeah, we'll come up with something. DM me and SBG and we'll make something work out, Miniwall. Lindy. She's already answering that one. I appreciate it so much, Miniwall. All right, where am I going here? Yeah, Lindy's coming to the next year one for sure. And you need to be there, B-Dog, for sure. I don't know. That's a question for Lindy. I don't remember, but I think she's coming back here. I know she's going to be in Wyoming here in a few weeks. So I think she's definitely going to be back in another week or two for sure. Yep, that's funny. I thought we were getting mugged. I thought we were getting mugged for sure. I'm like, I'll be danged. B-Dog. I can't stand pork much anymore. I rarely eat it. Bacon either. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to say it out loud because people, bacon is like a bridge into carnivore, and so many people need it because bacon is one of those hyper palatable, very, very, easily palatable foods that people can use to get from the standard American diet to carnivore. But the reality is, a lot of people, myself including, once you really start getting clean and healthy and you get away from all the hyper palatable nonsense, food no longer has a hold on you. So you no longer have to eat for cravings. And when that happens, you start eating based on what makes you feel the best. And once that becomes your priority, because food now becomes just nourishment, and you get your pleasure out of the nourishment, not so much just the hyper palatability of it. And when that happens, you end up not eating much bacon or pork anymore because the ruminant animals and the higher fats make you feel better. And so that's where I'm at, where right now, I mean, it's pretty much beef, high fat, tallow, and lamb breastplates specifically have been my go-to. And if I'm feeling a little bit whatever, I'll have some raw salmon. It also makes me feel really good. But those are pretty much all that I ever eat. And maybe some raw egg or some egg yolks raw, no whites. That's pretty much the extent of my diet now. Let's see. I tried lamb. Okay, so Terry, you're gonna have to talk to Alyssa about this someday. But she's like the guru of lamb because she's only eaten lamb for about 18 months. But what she has taught me, because I had this same experience. First time I had lamb, I was like, who shot that thing and let it go bad on the highway for 6 months before I just ate it? Because it tasted like rotten, wet, stinky, gamey dog meat. And I was like, who eats this crap? And it was tough and it was gross and I hated every bit of it. And then I had it again, like second time, same thing, stink dog, wet dog, smell, taste, slimy, gross. And then then that was years ago. And then I come back around and I had lamb lollipops and some lamb chops and things. And they were fantastic. They were absolutely delicious. I liked them better than the beef I was eating at the time. And I was like, what the heck? I thought I was going to have to choke this down, hold in my nose, but it was delicious. And then, what Alyssa told me was no, that good lamb, it's kind of like fish, like your fish shouldn't taste fishy. If your fish tastes fishy, that's because they didn't clean it right. They didn't keep it frozen and it grew some bacteria on the slime on the outside of the fish. And that's why it tastes nasty. But good, fresh, well cleaned fish don't taste fishy. They taste really good. And lamb's kind of like that. The stinky, crappy dog meat lamb just wasn't handled properly, and it grew some weird, funky, stinky bacteria on the outside. It's just not good lamb. So Alyssa gets a certain brand of lamb, which I think was Superior Farms. I shouldn't have said that because she's going to be like, now everybody bought my dang lamb. But she gets a certain kind of lamb, and she gives it the smell test. So I think you might change it. Maybe you don't like lamb, or maybe you just got some of the wet, stinky dog lamb. So, there's Alyssa. Yep, you did. Alyssa converted us to the lamb cult. It's true. Well, I just found that the lamb fat actually took the inflammation out of my legs a lot quicker. So I quite enjoyed it. And the lamb breastplates are pretty tasty. Let's see. I've never had lamb. How do you cook it? And what cuts should I look for? So I'm fairly new to lamb too. I get the lamb breastplates right now, and I cook it like a brisket, and they have high fat, and those are pretty tasty. Before that, I was doing the rack of lambs and the lamb chops, and I was just treating them like like a steak. I was putting them in the air fryer, and they're really good. Let's see. Yep, like Lindy said, never had bad lamb. Oh, we got cat on I got you. Now I see where Alyssa is coming from. We got cat on there. There we go, cat for sure. I have a ton of lamb in my freezer right now, so don't make me regret it. Oh boy. Cat is out of the bag. Yeah. That's why we can't have nice things. All right. Yeah, right there. Let's said save some for her. I actually like lamb a little bit rarer than I like my beef, even, which is saying a lot, because I definitely like to see nerves still twitching in my steak when I'm eating it. Yep, absolutely, Laura. Yeah. Wow, I caught up to you guys again. How you doing this? There's almost 100 of you in there, and I'm out talking to y'all. Alyssa's like, yeah, no kidding. Listen, Laura, they have to listen to me in open chat. And they're like, good Lord. Lamb is done at 140. Well, Alyssa, I don't think, other than the lamb breast, I don't think I've ever cooked a piece of lamb to 140. It's fact. Still want to see the death throes in the plate. All right. I tell people that the ruminant animals are my emotional support animals. That way it doesn't seem so cruel to them. I'll have to have some information on the lamb preparation. Absolutely. And only 16 thumbs up. Some of you have some work to do. Thanks, Julie. No, well done at 140. Well done. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, I don't know that I've ever cooked a piece of meat at 140. And the meat that does get cooked around me at 140 gets buried in the backyard, and those people get off my friends list. I sent them home. I love lamb chops. I couldn't stand leg of lamb as a kid because my mom would put mint jelly. Yeah, that happened to me once. I was like, what? Why did you put mint on my meat? So I did for a long time. Oh, I don't know if I told you guys this. Maybe I'll tell you. I've just been behind. A lot of stuff's going on. So I did 54 egg yolks a day for a long time to raise my testosterone, and it did, but it was just slow going. And then I read a few articles on, and look, this first of all, I'm indifferent on whether I did the right thing or not. but I tried to do the right thing that I thought might be the right thing for about 3.5, 4 years, which was using diet to raise my testosterone. And I did double it. The problem was my testosterone was so low that was still low, even at doubling it. And so, but I fought taking the injections because I know that your body can stop making testosterone. And also, the higher your body fat percentage is, uh, the more that it converts to estrogen, and that keeps you. It's kind of like you're stuck in a catch 22 because you need to lower your body fat so that your hormones will convert to testosterone rather than estrogen. And but you kind of need the testosterone to help burn the body fat and create more lean tissue to help burn the body fat. So you kind of get stuck in this spot. So when I was in keto world about 4 years ago plus, I they subscribed me with injections of testosterone, and I took them for 5 weeks, but I didn't like how they made me feel because I would take an injection, I have to shoot it in my right uh, leg muscle, and I would get I don't know what happens to me, but whenever I take injections, I get these nasty welts, these big like golf ball size bumps under my skin, and that's even when I'm putting it in the those were in the muscle. I had to put it in. I need these long because I had fat legs and I had need these long needles, and I'd really have to jam them in there in the muscle and inject them, and then they would make me irritable, and I'd get these big lumps in my legs, and I'd have to do that twice a week. And I wasn't really enjoying it, and it was just kind of like this roller coaster ride. Or one day I'd spend a couple of days kind of sensitive to light. My color vision was coming back. I'd have headaches. Then I'd be grouchy and irritable. I wouldn't sleep well. And then I'd have like a couple of days in the Goldilocks zone. And then I had a couple of days where I was really down, and then I had to take the shot again. And I was doing this over and over. And I did it for about 5 weeks. And I was reading up on it, trying to figure out what was happening. And then they said, yeah, the injections put you on a roller coaster. Like when you first take it, your goes way high, and then it kind of drops down. So you just keep doing this. So that was, about 4 years ago, I guess. So I took myself off after I shoved a guy into his car because he had a confrontation to me, and I was a little moody, I guess, from the testosterone. It was uncharacteristic of me. But I walked him back to his car in a not so uh, volunteering way. It wasn't his choice, and he went into his car through the open window head first with his feet sticking out the window. And as I walked back to my car, I went, that was kind of unlike me. It's out of character. And I realized that the testosterone was making me aggressive, and I didn't like it. And so I stopped taking it, and that was 4 years ago. Anyways, I revisited it because it only went up about almost 90 points or something in the last 4 years with diet, but it wasn't enough. So I researched it again, and they have these new pellets now that they put under the skin in the fat layer, and you only have to get them like every 5 months, and they slow release testosterone out, so that you stay steady. And then also they can slowly build up your overall testosterone and get it to a high number, like shoot past where they want you. Like I'm under 300. They want you at 900. So they take you to like 1300, and then they wean you off the pellets, and then your body starts making it again. But in that time, the rest of the body fat comes off. So you get leaner. And so you get leaner, and then your body starts making the testosterone again. So anyhow, this is first time I'm trying that, see what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, quite honestly, but we're going to see. And if it does work, I'll let you guys know and see what happens. But that's where I'm at right now. And so stay tuned. All right. Did we get everything? I think we answered everything. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, the release pellets. And so yeah, I've never tried it before, and I went rounds with my hormone doctor about that, and we went through it like 3 different times, and he's like, "Dude, you'll be a different person." He goes, "I took him off," and he goes, "I'm not on them right now." And actually both my doctor and my chiropractor both were on them. They raised their testosterone, and then they both got off of them, and their testosterone stayed up. So that's what I'm doing, because I want to throw all the stuff at it. I don't like pills. I don't like stuff, but I think from being insulin resistance and as big as I was for as long as I was, I think that that was something I broke, and I needed a bridge back. And seeing as how the real reason that I was okay with it is because they gave me a path off of it. If they would have told me that I was going to have to stay onto it forever, but since I was talking to 2 people that I'm trusting quite a bit, and they both had gotten off of it, and their testosterone stayed up, showing that their body was making their own now. And I was like, okay, then I'll give this a try. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to see what happens, but I'm basically going to give it. They said that it lasts about 5 months, and that usually after anywhere from 12 to 18 months, they're able to wean people off of it. And so I figured I'd give it 18 months and see if they can wean me off of it. And if nothing else, I mean, it'd almost be hard to not to make less than I was. Right. So yeah, we're monitoring it closely, and we're going to see where it comes out. So I'll be letting you guys know. So all right, let's see. Did I get everybody? Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope you have all the benefits as needed. I hope so too. I think that there are some good things out there. I'm very much against a lot of things, but I think with the testosterone, it's been around a long, long time, and I think as long as you're not abusing it and you're just bringing back your levels to normal, and you can use it as a bridge to get your body to make the hormones, I think that that's good. So that's what I'm looking for, and we'll see what happens. But good, bad, or ugly, I'll let you guys know. So, but anyways, I appreciate it. Man, we shot over the hour, but it was fun hanging out with you guys. Appreciate you all coming in. Oh, I didn't look at this. I appreciate you all coming in, and we will talk to you guys next time. I'll be back next Sunday. Soon we'll be back on Fridays as well. And I'll see you guys in SBG. Love y'all. We'll see you next week.